6 o'clock. I'm calling the meeting to order. And Brian, will you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Yes. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All meeting minutes from February 10th work session and February. They're tabled. So we have no minutes to approve.
Not tonight, because
There's no quorum.
there's not a quorum here.
Okay, gotcha. So therefore, no minutes. As far as announcements are concerned, the Select Board will meet on the following dates. We'll have a regular meeting at 6 p.m. on Monday, March 9th, and March 23rd, 2020. Work sessions prior to the regular meeting will start at 5 p.m. And Candidates Night will be on Wednesday, February 26th at 6 p.m. at the Plymouth Regional High School Auditorium. Should I briefly read that, or is that just FYI? And if you want,
FYI for you guys.
and if you're on the ballot, you'll be at that meeting or the question and answer, and Mike Conklin will be hosting the events, and Bob Clay is on vacation, so he's stepping down from that duty. So that's next Wednesday, excuse me. Actually, it's Wednesday.
This Wednesday, yeah.
Yeah, the 26th at 6 p.m., and we'll probably have 5 to 8 inches of snow. So
We'll take our chances.
if you want the job, you'll be there. Town elections will be on Tuesday, March 10th at 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. at Plymouth Elementary School gym. And town meeting will follow the next day on March 11th, Wednesday, at 7 p.m. in the PES gym. And we'll have a work session?
Work session for new members, yes.
Okay. Work session only, 5 p.m. on Monday, March 16th for the new board. And all the above meetings will be held in the town hall unless otherwise noted. And citizens wishing to be listed on the Select Board's agenda should notify the town hall before 12 p.m. the Friday before the scheduled meeting. And, man, that ate up 2 minutes. So let's mention the Juliet Bolia appointment. So Juliet Harvey-Bolia is requesting to be appointed as the alternate to the Transportation Advisory Committee with Lakes Region Planning Commission. And we have the item before us. And is there a motion on this request of Juliet's?
I move that we name Juliet Harvey-Bolia as an alternate representative for Plymouth on the Transportation Advisory Committee of the LRPC.
And is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. Okay. Well, Juliet's now the alternate. Well, we got time actually to discuss the acceptance of a land donation from Mike McGinley. We already had a discussion at maybe the previous one or the two meetings ago. Was it?
Previous meeting.
We discussed accepting 2 parcels of land that Mike McGinley was donating to the town to put into a conservation easement. And what further needs to be discussed? The property itself is very desirable for the town to accept. And Brian, would you like to make some comments on this?
Would you like some comments?
Yeah.
Yes, In order to accept parcels of land, you have to hold 2 public hearings. There were no comments pro or against in the first hearing, which could have enabled this meeting to be skipped, but I figured it was regular session. It never hurts to have the second one. No decision needs to be made today. However, the decision has to be made at the March 9th meeting, because it's all by statutory timelines. That'll be the last regular select board meeting that falls within the available time period. So at that point, I'll come before you again and ask for the decision.
Okay, thank you. All right. Joe.
How we doing?
Doing well. How about
Hello.
yourself? And you have a request to change the tonnage of roads.
Correct. We put up road ban signs every year, and they've been at 15 tons for a long time. And so, which we've always felt has been high. So we did some investigating, and all our surrounding towns are 10 tons, and ours are 15. And so, assessing all our roads, which are, we felt it was the best place to be, is in sync with all the other towns, and it would help our roads, plus maybe deter people from trying to use them during mud season.
Okay.
And I don't know if you get the other part of it about trying to enforce a fine.
Yes, I see that it's $1,000.
Well, no, we wanted to start out,
Oh,
normally
500.
if it's just a real petty thing, we'll give them a first warning, but if what happens is everybody plays the I didn't know card, and it happens every year, so it's nothing out of the ordinary. But so we'll start out with the 500 and then 1,000, and then after that, we'll just, police will have to take notice or whatever we need to do to keep people from destroying our roads.
Okay.
The reason why I want to enact that, because what happens is there's no recourse. So if we catch them on the roads and you tell them to stay off, and there's no recourse, and then what's to keep them from, they can just tell you to go do whatever you want, but I feel if you have consequences, it would help.
Okay. So you're looking for a motion for both going forward with the fine, or at least the penalties involved in exceeding the limit?
Correct.
Also to change the limit from 15 to 10 ton
Correct.
limit.
Ask a question.
Yeah.
When you say $500 for the first offense and then $1,000 for the second offense, would it just keep going up $500, or after the second
at some
offense,
point, at some point, if I don't think you're gonna have that
Oh,
issue,
okay. It says
really,
it over
but-
here.
But at some point, you'll have to get law involved,
Okay.
but yeah, that's the theory. But I mean, after you get to a certain point, then you really need to.
Okay. All right.
That's where I'm at.
What? Oh, sorry. Grace, you had a question?
It's Grace Garvey from Texas Hill Road. Actually, I just wanted to speak in favor of this. I don't know if I can do that, but last year there were a couple logging trucks that I had actually flagged one of the guys down, and the road was closed on Texas Hill. And as Joe knows, that hill down to Reed Brook is just a mess, and it left ruts. You could hide a small dog in them. It was so bad. I don't know. Just wanted to throw it out there.
Well, thank you, Grace.
And they kept doing it.
Did you find small dogs that were hidden?
No.
No.
Two missing small dogs. They might have
So, any other discussion on this, or do you have
So
someone
there's
want
no
to?
current, it says that we're looking for a new RSA. There's no current RSA.
Well, 231, 191.
That was just a wrong term, a wrong verbiage. It's more like setting a procedure in place.
Has Chief LaFave weighed in on this for enforcement?
I know, but it talks about having, the PD has a form that used for this. So certainly he can work with me, and I can get Brian to work with me to set it up right.
Yeah. What are we looking at the difference in? I mean, it's 15 to 10. It's 5 tons. What are we looking at as far as size vehicles? I mean, Grace said a logging truck, and that's way over.
Yeah, that's
15.
way over. They don't belong out there unless
Yeah.
they have permission.
Right.
So it's the difference between, say, like a 6-wheeler and a 10-wheeler.
Okay.
But, 2 axles versus 4, and it does make a difference. And that's the reason why the other surrounding towns are doing it, so.
Any other questions?
No.
Is there a motion for allow Joe to go forward with this?
I move that we establish the change in tonnage for road postings from 15 tons to 10 tons.
Are we doing them in separate
And,
motions?
let's just include the penalties as well.
Oh, and also include the fines established between the Highway Department and Plymouth PD.
I second that.
Okay, any discussion? Actually, with regards to what is currently printed, as far as like currently the low limit signs for Plymouth are set at 15-ton maximum weight, so you'll modify these documents
Correct.
before. And also, again, the posting also has a 15-ton load limit, but you'll change that as well. And, okay. All those in favor, say aye.
All right.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. The ayes have, aye. And also, we need a motion to go forward for posting on March 1st for road closure.
Correct.
So does somebody want to make a motion effective March 1st to post signs for road closures for?
Yeah, I make a motion that effective March 1st, the new road tonnage allowance be enacted.
I second that.
All those in favor? Any discussion? All those in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
All right.
All right,
Thanks, Joe.
thank you.
Well, then.
2 minutes.
Not too bad. Yep, 2 minutes.
Any committee reports?
Well, it'll probably take more than 2 minutes.
Think so?
Are there any committee reports?
No.
Just a reminder that the school board meeting is on Monday night, and following that is the budget, not the hearing, but the meeting to vote on the elementary school board, the elementary school budget. And it's a very important meeting to go to. 7 o'clock, elementary school. 6 o'clock for the meeting itself.
Is that Eastern Standard Time? No. And I had a planning board meeting that I attended, and actually Brian, Brian Young. Jeez, I forgot the old guy's name. No, I'm kidding. It's Young. So Brian Young was there to discuss a possible future development of Boulder Point, which is probably like one of the last large pieces of property that could be developed. And we're just kind of going over possibilities, which is actually quite nice to think that something might be done on that piece of property. And that's the property above Harbor Homes, where the residence is, and also the dental. So it's going to be right above those two businesses. Anyway, that's kind of something good to look forward to. Also have a Pemigewasset River Local Advisory Committee meeting scheduled for tomorrow night. It's going to be in the library at 7 o'clock. And And I think that's probably it. Pretty darn close. Hey, well, you know, 6:15. I'm calling this public hearing to order, and I'm opening a hearing at 6:15 on 2/24. The Plymouth Selectboard welcomes all present for this public hearing on a petition warrant article submitted by 21 citizens of Plymouth to read as follows. Do you favor adoption of the town manager plan as provided in Chapter 37 of the revised statutes annotated? And copies of the NHMA, the Hampshire Municipal Association article explaining the difference between a town administrator and a town manager, along with the RSAs, have been provided on the back table. They are also available on the town's website at plymouth-nh.org. This is an informational hearing only. So what is next? Since this warrant article will be voted on by official ballot and not at town meeting, a member of the public requested this hearing so that the public would have a better understanding of what they are voting on by ballot. Voting on this article will take place on Tuesday, March 10th, 2020, at the elections on that day, between the hours of 8 a.m. and 7 p.m. at the Plymouth Elementary School on Old Ward Bridge Road. And one thing that I would like to state at the onset is the fact that should this pass during the the vote, then Kathy Lowe, who's currently the town administrator, will become the town manager. And having said that, I'm opening it up for public comment. Is there any comment, either support or against this motion, or an explanation? Please address yourself at the mic and.
Okay, Katharina Kelsey. So during the time that I was on the select board, I was astounded at the complexities of running our town. There's over 70 employees, multiple departments, an almost $10 million budget. And the knowledge required to deal with all those details is enormous. Yet, we expect a part-time board that meets for 2 to 3 hours every 2 weeks to know all these details. The current model, administrator model, because of having to learn of all those details, robs them, I believe, of the ability to act as visionaries and directors for the future of Plymouth on the behalf of the residents. So how is a manager different from an administrator? In the manager model, by state statute, the manager is tasked with taking care of all the day-to-day operations. He or she is head of all the departments, holds hire and dismissal responsibilities, sets salaries, prepares the budget, and approves the payment of bills. All of this that I just mentioned is currently done by the members of the select board. And actually you could see some of that just with the question about the highway department tonight. Some worry that a town manager has too much power. However, the statute requires that the manager bring a report to the select board every single month that's written that would talk about town activities, itemizing receipts and payments. He or she must keep the select board fully advised of the needs of the town within the scope of his or her duties. The statute also states that the selection of a town manager must be with reference to his or her education, experience, and training without reference to political beliefs. The town manager would free the board, I believe, to more effectively focus on big picture items. They could plan and strategize. They could spend more time forging strong relationships with the university and local businesses. They could review the excellent, I don't know if you've seen it, master plan in 2018 and focus on the recommendations made to forge a healthy, vibrant community. They could create a capital improvement plan. There's no guarantee that any of this would happen under a town manager, but there's no question that being free of day-to-day operations would afford more time to focus on those big issues. So what if we vote on this? What if we vote in a town manager and it turns out it's not what we expected and we don't like it? No big deal. We can have another warrant article that puts an administrator back in place. And as a matter of fact, our neighboring town, Ashland, did exactly that. They voted in a manager, they voted in an administrator, and now they're back to a manager model. I'd like to thank the board for agreeing to host this hearing because I think it's important and giving me time to voice an opinion. Thank you.
Thank you, Kathy. Just a reminder, we shall not get into personnel matters. The board will handle that in a non-public, but if there is any other comments either in favor or opposed, please approach the mic and offer them. Yeah, Patrice?
Patrice Scott. I'm just wondering if there's anybody else here that brought the petition. I'm just curious as a town's member to know what was the motivation. I've been involved with multiple petitions myself, and there's usually some urgent reason why people feel it necessary to bring a petition. And I know we've been through this at least twice before in my memory, considering the town management form of government. And personally, I like to say, and having served on the board too, I feel when we went from 3 to 5 members, that was a big plus for our community. We felt that we could get more diverse people from different pockets and different walks of life on the board, and that way they'd have a good sensibility of what the community felt. And I personally think that's been working very well. I would be concerned about handing a lot of this authority, which is outlined very well in the handout, of how much more authority a town manager would have over what we currently have, which is the selectmen guiding and working hand in hand with our town administrator to accomplish what the people decide they want our town to do at town meeting. So, it's been turned down twice before. I personally think that what we have with the town administrator government is very good. I think one of the most effective town administrators in our state is still a town administrator over in Durham. There has been so for many years, and it's not a bar to accomplishing many projects and development and all of the things that the town managers can do. But at least I feel we have the checks and balances of a board with a town administrator that would kind of not, you could have, depending on the personality and who gets in there, it could become a big power struggle. So I don't think we need that in our little town. We have enough little problems to tackle, and it's best if we all work together. Thank you.
Thank you, Patrice. Neil?
Mr. Chairman, if it may please the board, I rise in support of this warrant article proposing a town manager. I believe it would more clearly define the management role, and the select board would operate more smoothly. And I believe that this town is on the cusp of major growth, and I think our old system is not gonna be able to handle that growth. And I just want to keep it simple.
Thank you, Neil. Any other comments? Well, in that case, 6:24, I'm closing the public hearing. and bringing it back to the board, and you know, we have no personal say one way or the other, and we'll just wait for the election on the 10th. And are there any other items, Kathy, or?
We have to open up to public comments on what was said today.
Yeah, we could. Are there any public comment on the items that we discussed today? Seeing none. Is there a motion?
I move that we adjourn tonight's meeting.
Second.
All those in favor, say aye.
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 Close the meeting.